My mission in life is to take what I do as a psychic out of the world of fortune tellers, spiritualist, religion, spirituality, all of that realm, and put it in the mainstream. And I like to work with people that are never open to working with psychics. I like to work in arenas that psychics have never been used. Basically, I'm called to investigate something and there's a question. So I focus either on the question or the event. The first question I was asked was, how did Edgar Allan Poe die?
On October 3rd, 1849, Edgar Allan Poe was found on a Baltimore street, distressed, delirious, and in another man's clothes. He died never able to explain what happened. Why was this New York resident in Baltimore? Was he shanghaied into a plot of voter fraud, or could he have been done in by his lifelong vice?
The day that he died, I'm zeroing in on Fells Point. I asked to not be told anything. I don't like to know anything before I walk in the door. He's talking about having a headache, and he drank a little bit because he's talking about drinking alcohol. So I see him in a brothel for, like a few days on a bender. And I do see a woman there, and she's the one that finds him. She looks younger than him to me. She looks like, I see her with long hair, a little bit wavy like mine, although I see it pulled up. And I see her finding him. Some of the things I'm getting as intuitive or psychic impressions, and some of the things I'm hearing quite literally from spirits. I'm watching a poker game. So was Edgar Allan Poe known to play poker and gamble?
Yeah, one of his problems when he was at the University of Virginia was his gambling debts.
Okay. As the historians are giving me validation for that, or putting that information in context of a little bit of a bigger picture, then my vision begins to expand. He was on a bender of drinking. I see him gambling, and the same place that he's playing poker and gambling is the same house that I see the prostitutes. I think he might have had a thing for prostitutes. Do we know about that?
What were you doing, Edgar, all those hours?
It's like you begin to make a map, or a network or a spider web, and everything starts to connect, and you start off with one piece of information that just turns into a much bigger story. There's some law enforcement people there, maybe like the head of the police department is there. It's like the state legislature or the city legislature. There's some kind of lower level political officials.
There was an election that day.
And then when that evidence or this piece of a puzzle is put into a bigger context by the historian, then my vision just starts to expand. There is a strong connection with the Bowie family. And then they begin researching, and we begin to have a real collaboration.
And so I did some digging in the Maryland State Archives. Odin Bowie also was running for the Maryland House of Delegates, and he won his election on the same day.
So when I bring in this contradictory information, and then people start looking at everything in a different way and start connecting dots, it creates a whole new story. He might have been maybe at the Democratic campaign headquarters.
All of them were in the party at that time called the Democratic Party.
And then I see 4 or 5 of these men all get into a carriage, go downtown, which would be Fells Point, and I feel that that's where I'm seeing him being found unconscious in bed by this dark-haired woman. I see it as it was in 1849. They would have been drinking, smoking cigars, and then I would see Edgar Allan Poe here, and they would have been playing poker. The men would have been playing poker. The prostitutes would have been hanging over their shoulder, trying to get their guy for the night.
It was simply more brothels per square foot than any other place in the state of Maryland.
And this is where the brothel was, and the men would sleep with the women.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And I feel that he was dropped off where they found him dying. And that's why he's not in his right clothing.
And it could be if he was in a brothel, that the people there panicked Here we have a guy who's dying. We've got to get rid of him. And
Who was
so,
pretty well known at that time.
well, yes, yeah. A lot
You
of
know, it wouldn't have been
that's
good.
right.
It would be like a
Exactly.
local celebrity
That's a good
dying
point.
in your illegal
That's
establishment.
true. That's true.
Are you still a skeptic
About what?
about me?
I'm getting interested and
You're warming up a little?
intrigued on what you're making connections to.
Okay.